It is July 2nd. Here's my walk through the garden. I'm starting over here on the far north side. There's the melons, and with the next row is the carrots here, and watermelon, and muskmelon, more melons, and then melons going into the squash. And then I planted the squash in amongst the corn. It came up in the garden and I didn't want to get rid of it, so here showing the corn with the carrots. And then I'm gonna move over. Here's the far west side, and then keep going down through the tomatoes today. And then here's some of the determinate varieties, if I can get down to show, are starting to produce fruit. And the indeterminate are producing fruit as well, but the determinate ones are almost ripening. And then here's some of the indeterminates that are starting to produce fruit today. Here's the rest of the walk through the tomatoes. And then coming to this end, I'll skip over. Here's the last of the tomato rows, and here's the cucumbers and the beans. Cucumbers are still just starting to climb up, and then here the beans are starting to produce flowers. Let's see if I can get a good section of the flowers. Here's my row finishing up. I'll have to tuck in these, so I just come along and tuck them back up in to the fence if they fall down. You can see I've been weeding, so my hands are nice and dirty. Here's some of the bean flowers that are starting to come in. And then moving on down from the cucumbers into the peas, and then finishing up the beans. And the peas are starting to flower and produce pods. Let's go see if we can find a good section of them. Where did I see that? There's one plant that has a pod already started, unless my daughter came and picked it up. Here's the pod that started, pods, plural, and you can see the flowers not quite opening up right now, but all right. And then here's finishing out the beans, and then starting in on the next row is the beets, and I still need to weed those out. I'm finishing up the radishes and the onions here in this row. And then I had the bunnies came in since I didn't have these covered and ate up my beets, so I just planted some more seed that Danny got. And then I need to finish up weeding this section. And then here are hot peppers and celery and the green peppers. There's one pepper right here that's getting ready to pick, so there's my hand in comparison. And then here's the rest of the onions, and this starts the kohlrabi. I'll come over on the side of the beans so that I can walk better through it. And kohlrabi, and here starts in the broccoli, and I have it all under nets to stop those white cabbage butterflies, which are pretty but devastate. the brassica, and then here's the cabbages starting. And I did 5 plants this year, 5 heads. Here's my friends, Moody and Belle. And they like the grasshoppers, but they also like my bean leaves, so I keep up with them in the garden. And then here are the potatoes. So I have to watch out for the potato bugs every year. And there's spaces where a few of the sets didn't plant, the eyes didn't come up. So like right here. So I'll fill that in with grass hay when I get it in. And there's the garden today. Thanks for watching.